everybody, Dr. Rick Wallace here, dropping in on you. Hope everybody is having an unbelievable start to your week and an unbelievable Tuesday. As for me, got a lot going on, pushing to get some things done. It's a exciting and yet testing time for what we're doing at Rick Wallace Enterprises, what we're doing at the Visionetics Institute, and just as importantly, what we're doing at the Odyssey Project as far as the Black community is concerned. Look, let me address something real quick. A lot of people have been hitting me up about Jason Whitlock on his podcast, and I'm assuming his because almost every segment I see on there, he's on there with another guy. So it's called Scoons or something like that. And basically he unleashes on Stephen H. Smith, and he reveals a bunch of stuff about Stephen H. Smith that, of course, I absolutely agree about. He comes with an unequivocal, absolute commitment to stand up for Kwame Brown, and basically approaches what Stephen H. Smith is doing as far as going at Kwame, because he's basically being called out by Kwame. He is going at him, and some of the things that he says that is obviously not true, like nobody has actually attacked this kid personally. Yeah, a lot of the attacks have been personal, and the entire thing from the beginning was personal. And but what he points out also is the fact that Kwame Brown has gone so much above, and I've said this in several of the streams that I've done, that what I love about this is Kwame Brown is taking this so much further than beyond his personal beefs to talk about some very important issues within the community, and to expose some things, and to talk about things on a very high and level. And you didn't expect it from him, but he's coming out and he's doing this thing, and it's unbelievable. It's great. So that is important to a bunch of people. My take is a lot of people are asking me about whether or not what Jason Whitlock is saying, actually changes how I feel about him, or some of the things I've said about him in the past. And the truth is, my take on some of the things Jason Whitlock said in the past, I still hold the truth to those specific things. I think that what he's doing, if he is authentic and genuine about really standing up for the kid, and from what I can tell in all of his covering of this and what he's always stood, he's been very open and honest, and he makes a very valid point. A lot of people don't want to talk about this because a lot of people don't want to speak out against MJ, the golden child of basketball. And that's where a lot of the problem lies. Everybody can place blame everywhere else, but nobody wants to talk about the truth and the depth of this. And I never really got into it a whole lot. I talked about it enough to let people know where it was coming from, what I saw, what I remember, some of the things I've heard when I was closer in circle to some of the things that were going on, what I've heard lately, some of the things that I had never heard before, and what that means and how that impacts what's going on. He's pointing that out, and he's talking about it on, very transparently. You have to understand, though, that Stephen A. Smith and Jason Whitlock are from two different ends of a spectrum. One's a conservative, one's a liberal. And so they eat from two different ends of the table. And so there can always be some dissent between them without the thing. My whole thing is, where's the motive coming from? You can only go by what you see. I'm not as forgiving as some people because I know some of the things I've heard that I didn't agree with. But I do agree that this kid got a bum rap from the beginning. His career was basically personally destroyed if you know the true facts. If you know how politics in sports work, if you understand how the entire system is set up. He was pegged, he was mishandled. He was never what Michael Jordan wanted when he drafted him. He was drafted in the trade for Elton Brand, and the owner wouldn't let the deal go through. So he ended up stuck with Kwame Brown, and he punished the kid for it. And you're talking about putting a 19-year-old kid in a situation where other people who had more established careers, if you want to call them that, I think the kid did great, personally. Did he live up to the #1 drafting? No, he shouldn't have never been drafted #1. And this is no mark on him or against him. The basketball experts who are supposed to be able to distinguish and scout and evaluate talent to determine basically how their game is going to translate into the NBA are the ones who make those decisions on where to pick someone. The truth is, Michael Jordan saw the hype in the kid. Michael Jordan played a big role in the continued hype of the kid leading up to the draft. Michael Jordan's idea was, I'm going to draft the kid based on all the hype, and I'm going to trade for who I really want, which was Elton Brand. Now, when it all came down and he wasn't allowed to do it, his ego was bruised. He didn't end up with what he wanted, and he threw a tantrum. Anybody has ever heard about how Michael Jordan gets down? To me, I still think the greatest player to ever touch a basketball, me personally. But as a person, I've heard all kind of things, from Chameleon, the rapper, from a bunch of other people. He's an absolute jerk. Very selfish, very self-centered, very egotistical. And he punished that kid for being stuck with him. And by the time that kid left from under that and moved around, he had already been pegged as this type of player by the GOAT. The greatest of all time says this is who he is. You don't think coaches took that and gave him playtime and position and opportunity in their system based off of that label? If you don't get but 4 touches a game, you're not going to put but so many points on the board, no matter how good you are. You're never going to get a rhythm. You're never going to learn. You're never going to be established. You've got to be given an opportunity, no matter who you are, to put up points. You give anybody 6 touches a game, and they're not going to have a 20-point-a-game career. It's impossible. So you've got to look at the totality of it. But back to the whole thing with Jason Witten. I'm not willing to pull back off of what I said. I will acknowledge what he said is true. I will acknowledge that he came straight. He didn't pull no punches. He called a spade a spade. And I couldn't find anything wrong that he said on there about that particular situation and about Stephen A. Smith in general and in specific that would make me say, okay, you know, here's this guy. I didn't see any of the Jason Witten that I found issue with. Now I'll have to go back and reevaluate this whole thing under this light and see if maybe I misunderstood him. I don't think so. But that's the kind of person I am. I'm about really, truly being honest with myself and everyone. And maybe I can reevaluate, because I don't have a tolerance at all for anyone who is coming down hard on black people, a black situation. And some of the things he said, I took offense to as a black man, even though he was talking specifically about specific black people. And maybe I need to go reevaluate and look at that. And I will. But what I know that I specifically took the time that people sent to me and said, hey man, you got to check this out. Because I heard about it and I said, okay, that's cool. But someone sent it to me. And I had to go sit down and I had to watch it. It's not short, it's long. But I wanted to see what was it all about, what everybody's getting excited about. And he calls a spade a spade. He brings receipts. And he talks about the fact that Stephen A. Smith is not a true journalist. He's someone that gets paid a lot of money to be the jester, the court jester, the buffoon, the buck dancer. And he used some other colorful terms. But he says that He's very uninformed in any other area of sport except basketball, but he doesn't even use his expertise and knowledge in basketball to report or to bring true enlightenment about any particular event. It's always got to be over the top, loud, extra colorful, because that's what he's getting paid to do. That's what his handlers want him to do. And I absolutely agree with that. But there's so much more. If you want to find it out, I thought about posting it, but I'm not going to post it. At least that's my call on it now. Maybe I'll post the whole thing at another time, but as of right now, I'm not. What I want to commend, again, Kwame Brown could literally have things on lock and be pulling in a lot more loot if he posted his YouTube channel in a different way, where it was casting out copyright strikes. He's letting anybody who wants to use that material to bring enlightenment, to share things, to give people a voice, share it on their channels with no copyright strikes. What that does is that keeps you from having to do commentary on what you heard. You get to share it and let the people see exactly what was said, how it was said, under one cut text it was said, and then if they want to add a little commentary to it, they can, but it's there. That's going to be huge. I don't know how long he's going to do that, but right now that speaks to the volume of his intent, because it's obviously not greed, because right now he's the hottest thing on YouTube, and he could really be eating. Not saying that he's not, because he's selling merchandise, stuff like that, but he can really have things on lock, and he can really be in a lot more control of his content. And anyone who will tell you, you need to be in control of your content. That's your creative enterprise. You should be in control of it. But he's more worried and concerned about getting the message out, to share, to show. And I commend him for it. And as far as Jason Witten is concerned, for those of you who are asking about that, I've got to go back and I've got to reevaluate it. I'm not pulling anything on, the hard chastisement that I had from in the past. But I will go back and evaluate it based on the context in which I've just viewed what he had to say. So with that being said, look, I'm at the gym. I'm about to get in here, try to make some things happen. Look like somebody got their parking spot I came all the way around to get, but I'm gonna jump right here. I'm not gonna whine about it. Anyway, look, this whole thing with me, with the Kwame Brown thing and the Stephen A. Smith thing, has been sort of up and down with me in the way that I view it and the way that I've wanted to deal with it. But what I've learned is that people have a desire to know something, a desire to hear something. And while I may not necessarily want to deal with it because my focus is somewhere else, if I can find a teaching moment in it, if I can find somewhere to actually reveal the microcosmic presentation of it, because I see what's going on with Kwame Brown as a microcosm of a much bigger issue. I see what's going on with Stephen A. Smith as a microcosm of a much bigger issue within Black America. And so when I see these microcosmic revelations, I see them as opportunities to teach. And I know that because they're hot topics, more people will listen. People don't want to talk about the things I talk about in epigenetics and psychology. They don't want to talk about epigenetics and psychology. They don't want to talk about epigenetics and trauma. They don't want to talk about adverse childhood experiences. They don't want to talk about the miseducation of Black youth in America. They don't want to talk about serial forced displacement and all the other things that I've done years and years of research on and offer solutions on, and talk about issues that we are absolutely going to have to deal with. That's not exciting. That's not hot. It's not sensational. It's all about sensationalism. And so what I have to find is ways to integrate the truth into these microcosmic revelations in a way that people will tune in and get the gist of what I'm saying under the overlay of something that's more exciting and pulled in. And that's a tough thing for me, because that's not how I started out, and that's not where I want to be. That's not my thing. I would much rather every now and then touch on these subjects and keep moving. But what I found is I'm getting people, I watch the comments, not for the sake of seeing if someone agrees with me. I watch the comments to see if people actually got the undercurrent of what was in the video, or was it still just talking about, oh man, he cussed him out and he said this. The people that are on my channel get it. And that's what I'm looking for. Are you getting that it's more, it's about more than what you're seeing on the surface? And they're my people, the people that I love, the people that show me love, get it. And so that's the exciting thing to me, is that my people actually get it. And so that's why I've continued to do this. It's because I see a benefit beyond the increased viewership, because the increased viewership means nothing if the message isn't being put out there. And to me, the message is what's important. So with that being said, look, I'm gonna get ready to get out of here. I'm gonna jump out of here and go do this workout, then get home and check on the family. And from there, probably upload this video. So by the time you get this video, I will have already worked out and made it to the office in the house. On that note, I'm going to check out. You guys have a great day.